See, you have to plant a seed sometime in order to wait for the tree to grow, then you bear the fruit. And the fruit that you bear is from the work that you put in. So with Cowboy being the conduit to Nipsey in my lifetime, should I say, it's predicated on the fact that I've raised Cowboy from a youngster when he was a little bitty skinny dude. He's a really good dude and come from a great family.
Very careful who you talk to, because you'll never know who the informant is, who the cooperating witness may be, and you'll never know somebody who was a friend today may have been flipped the night before and become your enemy tomorrow.
About humanity, putting truth in these lines, while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray with y'all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is going to send you big.
Here with Malik, Nipsey Hussle.
Wow. How did I know you was gonna go there?
He's in the background.
That he is. That he is, man.
What was that relationship like?
I didn't have a relationship per se. I met the brother. I remember when he was a youngster putting his posters up and down Crenshaw with all the bright colors. He used to have them all up there. I remember he used to be at the little chicken stand, him and his brother Sam. And I used to talk to him as a youngster. You know, he was real impressionable, should I say. But for the most part, I didn't have a relationship like some other people was fortunate to have. But I did have a relationship with him vicariously through the work that we've done in the streets with the gang truce and stuff like that. And it's a coincidence that you asked me about it, because I was looking at a video the other day when I interviewed Cowboy. And I was like, Cowboy, what's up? And he's like, yeah, Malik, man, you know, and I'll give it to you, by the way, too. I'll dig it out of my phone. You know, we got this thing because my friend Little Cat from Rolling 60s and I, along with Bo Taylor, had a company called Rise, a soda company. And we was doing around the truce time. And Cowboy said, yeah, man, we seen what y'all was doing, Malik, and then we took that and gave it to Nipsey, and then Nipsey, then we turned this into this. Those was Cowboy words, not mine. So the influence of what we've done collectively speaking with the brothers in Watts and hundreds and thousands of others that participated in the truce, it had an effect. See, you have to plant a seed sometime in order to wait for the tree to grow, then you bear the fruit. And the fruit that you bear is from the work that you put in. So with Cowboy being the conduit to Nipsey in my lifetime, should I say, it's predicated on the fact that I've raised Cowboy from a youngster when he was a little bitty skinny dude. He's a really good dude and come from a great family. He just happens to be from Overhill, Rolling 60s. But this gentleman right here was extraordinary, and I'll send you the videos. I have the raw footage of when he passed away. I was with Brother Dahood over at some construction dude's house in Hollywood trying to get some deals for the community. And I told Doe, I said, man, I'm going to leave from here because I want to catch Nipsey Hussle because I seen his car parked at his store when I came down Crenshaw. So I left from up there. I got the video of me leaving. And something just told me the tape going up to this guy's house and the tape coming down the stairs and the escalator and stuff. So I left Dahoud up there and I got down to Crenshaw. And I went to 54th and the traffic got thick. And I was like, man, I'm trying to catch Nipsey because I seen that little Jaguar up there. And I said, man, I got to catch Nipsey to tell him about the land because I wanted him to buy some of this land in order to facilitate possibly putting something for the homeless. So when I got to 54th, the traffic got thick. There was some construction, so the street was narrow. I got to Slauson, and I finally got a chance to make that right. When I made that right, the police came out and put the yellow tape over my car and told me, no, no, no. So, and you'll see it on the tape that I send to you. You can show it to your audience. So I asked a brother, I assume he was a smoker, like, man, what's going on? And you can hear him in the background saying, man, you know what goes on around here. Now, mind you, there's only an ambulance across the street, a fire truck, and a few people on the lot that was obviously there. So I pulled my car to the Shell gas station, and I went to the side where they got, in 60 neighborhood, they got a Shell station on Slauson and Crenshaw. They got a car wash there that you can see Nipsey's store if you look through the gate. So I pulled over right quick and I looked through the gate, and unfortunately I seen the little brother on the ground and they was doing CPR or something on him. It broke my heart, and I called some cats that didn't know he had passed away from that community. I think I called Big Cat's brother, Poppy, and a couple of other people. My point is this. Nipsey Hussle was the architect of redemption. Nipsey Hussle was the architect of redemption because he gave people like himself a way out, whether it be working with him or working through the works that he used to get to where he was going. Nipsey Hussle wasn't a gang member.
Would it be fair to say that he was a map to what a gang member should become?
Nipsey Hussle removed the stereotypical image of what a young black person is. Nipsey Hussle was never a gang member, and he never accepted that. He accepted the challenge to change, but he was never a gang member. He was a product of his own environment more than a gang member. Most kids that you see today are not gang members. They're just products of some certain environments that they can't control because
they function within the elements.
Right. Like I wrote an article once before called Mama, Why Did You Move on This Block? Because this article represents you moved over here from Arizona on Santa Fe and Tucker. You didn't know that there was gangs over there. You just seen palm trees and schoolhouses. And then speaking of schools, you have to blame California for a lot of reasons on why people perform the way they do. Contingent upon the fact that the school system here is a farce. You get in trouble here, you go to continuation because you can't go to the other neighborhood school, you drop out. Then the homies receive you because they got what you need. You got a dysfunctional household. And then they've been putting the black man out the house since the 70s with welfare. So when they get to talking about, oh, the black man ain't in this house, he's never been there. He was never allowed to be there. I can remember when black people wasn't allowed to have a colored TV in their house. I remember the social worker used to come to your house and count the toothbrushes to see if there was men's shoes underneath the bed, to make sure there was no man in the house. So what you see now with the black man's absence in the household is not predicated on the fact that he doesn't love his family, because the black man is the foundation of his family, like the sun is the foundation of the universe. And that's what Nipsey Hussle was. And that's why you see, if I can digress for a second, you see Nipsey Hussle, by the way, that picture was done by a brother named Muhammad Mubarak. Muhammad Mubarak is the hood Picasso. He's one of the, as Nipsey said, one of the most prolific artists in our community. This is one of one. This is a sword that was given to me by a cowboy that came from Nipsey Hussle's collection. So I looked at this thing one day and I thought about the name that I gave Snoop when he took a shahada in my car to become Muslim during his murder trial. And Snoop's name was Saifullah, which means the sword of Islam. So you can swing this to the left, which is wrong, or you can swing it to the right, but it doesn't have to necessarily represent a physical action. It can represent standing on principles that are correct. And that's what that young man attempted to do. Because see, there's a greater light and then there's a lesser light. The greater light, the lesser light is the candle. The greater light is the Bible and the Quran and wisdom. And that's what he was dealing with, the greater light.
Who detached us?
I don't think anyone has the ability to detach us. I think we detached ourselves from God by being arrogant, by being ungrateful, by playing God first, too close. See, over familiarity breeds content. Like a dog. If I take my dog now and I get too close to his face, he gonna lick me. And that's what has happened to America and with black people, with one another. We have become too over familiar with one another. And on the contrary, the rest of the world have become too over familiar with us. That's why they don't hire us in their stores. That's why they don't participate in our activities. That's why they don't put us in their markets of business and foreign import and export activity. That's why we're not a part of the financial institutions of America. And then you wonder, we've had a couple of black mayors, but when is one black mayor in any city outside of Harlem is going to build a high-rise business building in the ghetto? Why don't we have a downtown Watts that has high rises and people that can facilitate our needs and create business? And where's all these jobs that these young people are supposed to get? And how are we going to get jobs when you have corporate America participating in human trafficking and then utilizing migrants who are trying to come from another country to better their lives, and then they utilize them for cheap labor and then exclude us out of everything? Who's the hidden hand behind this? So when you talk to these young men, young nigga, you need to get a job. Where? The educational curriculum that they gave me is different than the one in Calabasas.
How does the marathon continue fit into the equation? How do we project or perfect that legacy? How do we carry it to the level? Because Black Sam seems to be fighting it on his own. It's not like everybody else is, throwing in and helping out to make sure the marathon continue.
Well, I salute Black Sam for continuing his brother's legacy. But sometimes you have to remember, like Kendrick Lamar said, they not like us.
True.
And those people that you talking about, they're not like us. And Sam and his crew and his family, they're only doing what they set out to do to dispel that myth that all young black men are gang members. That Nipsey Hussle was this, that. When Jesus came, he didn't come and sit amongst the peacemakers. Jesus came and sat amongst Nipsey Hussle and them. And Big U and Dale Dogs and Tony Bogarts and Baby Gangsters and those dudes. And Big Evil and Sinister and those type of brothers, man, and Mustafa's. He didn't come to sit amongst the ones that weren't righteous. He came to sit amongst those that knew how to utilize the sword of spirituality in the righteous way and only make it a physical thing when necessary. That's why in martial arts, we don't hand each other weapons. We put them on the ground.
Jesus went into the temple and kicked the chairs and the benches and the things over. He didn't stay there because he was in the streets.
Well, Jesus
He was outside.
Well, Jesus was outside with the deuce, the four, the bigs, and the nine. That's what Jesus was. But Jesus wasn't executed or crucified. Jesus lived to be 120 years old. See, the letter J was just introduced into the English alphabet almost 1,500 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it would be linguistically impossible to say that his name was Jesus. Mm-hmm. I go more with Jesus than anything because there you go. See, what people fail to realize, Brother Mel, and I'm going to digress once again to a religious perspective. A lot of people think that Muslims don't believe in Christ. That's not true. Surah 19, I believe it is, Maryam. It says, blessed the day he's born, blessed the day he dies, for we shall call him, blessed the day he's born, blessed the day he's died, blessed the day he's resurrected, for we shall call him the Messiah. People don't get that. They go by what CNN tell them and what Fox News tell them. And then those people that's in the Middle East don't represent believers. Arabs didn't teach American Muslims about God. Your grandma did. In the words of my boy Flossie, we was raised on Jesus Christ and beans and rice. Beans and rice and Jesus Christ. Our spirituality didn't come from no individual other than the Lord himself. That's why the world hates us. So we got God's enemies. It's nothing that we did personally. We just sided on the side of righteousness, which is God, and therefore we in this devil's world. See, this world is really, if there is no such thing as hell, this is the waiting room to hell.
Ignorance can be educated, crazy can be medicated, but stupidity, there's no cure for stupid, Malik. So when you say the term Muslim, why do they take that out of context? Muslim is someone who who simply submits to the will of who?
Of God.
Nothing more. Why do they add to that context?
Because it's a matter of semantics. And then everything has been nationalized by the Queen. That's like saying, oh, I see dudes saying, man, I'm Jamaican. I'm like, you can't be a state, a country, and a person. You never hear white people say, I'm British American, or I'm Swedish American, or whatever. You know, they don't do that. Only us. We the only ones that nationalize ourselves. I'm Chinese American. But how are you going to be a country and a person at the same time? You don't see Indian people running around talking about, I'm Indian American. That's a conditioning of the mind in order for you to pass it down to their children. The only person that's really free in America is law enforcement.
1619, they've been weaponized since day one. They have always been in the capacity to murder, kill, lie, exaggerate, and incarcerate. And especially when it comes to black people.
That's true. But look at the benefits of it. The benefits of it is what was promised to us, which was freedom, justice, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't get that.
Is there even such a thing, though?
Yes, because spiritual confinement is an option. Physical confinement is something that's placed upon you. Mental confinement is an option. But if you have someone that's playing mental gymnastics with you in your mindset, and they have the ability to be the puppet master, then it's difficult to break from that ideology.
Because God created the land, God created the water, God created the trees, the fruit, the vegetables, but yet the white man sell it to you and I.
Well, let's take it a little deeper than that. When God made a bird, the oppressor made a plane. When God made a snake, the oppressor made a train. When God made a dragonfly, the oppressor came out with a helicopter. Everything is simulated by nature. If you look at some of the moths and the wing sets on the moth, they look like F-15 fighter planes. So everything that God did, the oppressor, and I don't want to categorize him down just to white because Yakub was black. Mm-hmm. And he created, the big head scientist created this oppressor, this white man. Mm-hmm. But my great-great-grandmother was albino Caucasian because of the mixing of blood during slavery and then the mental whooping that our people took and endured. See, the thing with us that people are impressed with is our ability to endure. For example, Japanese. They don't have the ability to release anger or emotions. That's why they got the suicide forest. That's why you see Japanese learn how to dance black, and they get on those machines and they do them little dance because they don't. In karate, you have to release. Yeah, kia, kia. We have that mechanism naturally. The rest of the world don't have that. Most white men, when they can't release, they commit suicide or commit an atrocity. We have the ability to be humble and to anticipate a better day, which is called faith.
Malik, if you reveal your secrets to the wind, you should not blame the wind for revealing them secrets to the trees.
That's true. And that's the only way that you're gonna win and become a winner. Because you have to plant those seeds in order to get those trees to facilitate giving off that oxygen while it sucks in your negative energy, which is carbon. Mm-hmm. So everything plays a part. Again, it goes back to the original conversation. We are a group of integrated parts, like a computer, causing the common purpose of performing the operations called for in the program being executed. It's nothing different. The first email was not sent out recently in 1993 or 89. I believe the first email was sent out in the 50s. Queen Elizabeth been getting emails for years. This technology that you see today is not new. This come out the mind of Minolta, which is the black man. We should be more concerned about that mothership that's coming here, that NASA's talking about, that's got black writing on it. We have other things to worry about. You seen that so-called UFO, I call them FOIs. But you seen a UFO the other day they shot, and then they hit it with the Hellfire missile, and then it disintegrated, and then it stopped and picked up the pieces and kept going? That's because God, Allah, Jesus Christ, whatever you want to call him, Tookie Williams, Buddha, is Lord of the worlds. And you can take 7 seas and turn them into ink and add 7 to that. And take all the trees and turn them into pens and add 7 to that. And you'll run out of ink and trees before you exhaust the wisdom of Allah, of God. So it's just a matter of semantics and nationalism. That's all it is. And spiritual wickedness in high places. So you have to be on the right side of history. And until the brothers in Chicago hear the call from the brothers in California, it's not going to happen.
Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. The marathon continue.
Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. The marathon never stopped.
There it is there. Lock the door.
America made niggas.
America made niggas.
Proof of grind all the time, baby.
Yeah. Cali Miners, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga. Streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top. Diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing. They see me shining. That's hard work. Proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. Ali, bad man, and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me. That's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking. And I don't talk about it. I just make it happen. Word